Hello, Southwest Florida homeowners and homebuyers. Welcome to the 239 Real Estate Roundtable Podcast, your go-to source for navigating the vibrant real estate landscape of our beautiful region. I'm your host, Kevin Tremmel, a local real estate agent, leader, and investor here in Southwest Florida. On this podcast, we bring you insights from best in the business, top-notch real estate professionals, seasoned agents, and experts in everything from homeowners insurance to mortgages, maintenance, and repairs. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned homeowner, we've got you covered with tips, strategies, and valuable insights to make your journey in Southwest Florida's real estate market a breeze. Get ready to unlock the doors to successful home ownership. This is the 239 Real Estate Roundtable Podcast, where we demystify the process, share insider knowledge, and ensure you're well equipped to make informed decisions. Let's dive in.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the 239 Real Estate Roundtable Podcast. Today, we have Cedric Teboul on our show. Cedric has been involved in South Florida real estate for over 2 decades and has become a leading specialist in investment properties. He provides valuable counsel to family offices, investment funds, and private investors. Welcome to the show, Cedric.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Yeah, we're on the verge of a very, very strong hurricane, so I appreciate you taking the time.
But you're rather in the back. It's not fantastic.
Yeah. Well, Cedric, why don't we get started? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your real estate story? How did you get into real estate? Why did you get into real estate? And how long have you been in real estate?
Sure. Well, I originally had a grandfather that was in love with Florida. And we were coming from the south of France, and he showed me Florida about 30 years ago as a kid, and started to do development himself and bought some land and built his first home. And it went pretty well until the Hurricane Andrew actually showed up, and that was a rough patch for him. But I saw him getting back up and work again in this business. So I always thought at some point in my life I would get involved with real estate. And after a short period on Wall Street and realizing the hours that I was spending on the floor on Wall Street, I realized real estate wasn't a bad option. I took some of my investors with me from New York and decided to come down to Miami and give it a shot. That was 2006.
Nice. So you're approaching that 20-year mark. And I have actually heard that from some friends. Obviously, at the end of the year and on Wall Street, you do make quite a nice chunk of money. But when you break it down to an hourly rate, it becomes, less and less nice. So
it's just you're giving up your life, basically, like the 4 a.m. to 6 p.m. at night. By the time you get home, all you want to do is sleep and eat. So you really have no life. Like, it's on weekends, you're with the investors or with the people that you need to schmooze to talk about on Monday or Tuesday. I worked on the commodities market, so it was even tougher. We had real companies to work with and to entertain. So it was a lot of work.
Yeah. So no more. So, obviously real estate, we spoke about this just a minute ago off camera, but real estate is obviously very, very broad. There's many different ways to skin the cat, so to speak. Tell us a little bit about, what do you do in the real estate world? What do you focus on? What's your specialty?
Yeah, so it kind of fell on me, to be honest. When I started in 2006, the market was super hot in Miami. It was very exciting to buy properties. But very fast in 2007, everything crashed. And most of the people I met in real estate were leaving the job. And I decided to kind of find the opportunity in real estate. And at that time, the units, the condos were for sale for so cheap compared to what it was at the cost of building the same condos, that I realized if I could gather some money from investors and buy some condos, it would be beneficial for the future. So we did that, and we bought by 30 units in a building and another 20 somewhere else. And it was a few hundreds by the end of the year. And we had brought in a few friends to help us with the management of the units because we realized it was a lot of work. But those years that were so tough for most people, for us were amazing years because it really launched our career to the next level, where we decided to work mostly with investors and finding the deals for those investors in South Florida.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it sounds like you bought it after the market already came down, right? And you've just been kind of riding that wave up, I guess, for the last 15 years or so.
Yeah, and I guess coming from the south of France, I also knew this type of market. South Florida is a very roller coaster market, I would call it. Like you have those very wealthy and affluent people that show up, they buy the 10, $15 million houses, buy some office buildings and some multifamily buildings, and then realize that their business is not doing so well and they need to sell out everything. And it's very fast decisions that they make. So this is where the opportunities are. We look for distressed opportunities.
Okay. So you look for value add, distressed, and then add the value and then either hold it, or most of the time you sell it for a gain, or what's the model there?
It depends. So we work for family offices. We have a family office that has maybe 700 condo units in Miami and they never want to sell. So we manage, now that we bought those units, we manage it for them. And we have some other clients that do not want to hold anything in South Florida and would rather buy and sell and have a portfolio of properties that they renovate and sell every few years.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So you're going on 2 decades. You've pretty much seen the market crash and then rebound up. So my next question would be, how have you kind of seen the South Florida market evolve over the last, let's say, 15 years?
So we always knew South Florida would come up on the US map, I guess, more and more. I think COVID really gave it like a huge boost where people realized we had a lot more to offer than just the nightclubs and the fun life. I think businesses started to realize that tax-wise, it made a lot of sense to be in Florida. If he was in Florida, it was Texas. But I think those are the two states that really became prominent after COVID, where all those companies decided to relaunch. And honestly, looking at the future of South Florida, I can only see a very bright future. The people coming here are people that were never here before. And when they come with their businesses, they come with their families. It's not just, it's a few generations are moving from different countries. I've met with Turkish people last week. I had never met Turkish people so affluent in South Florida. And now they're building some of the tallest towers in Miami. It's very impressive. They're bringing their technology. You have Arabic Emirates that decided to build here the same way they built in Dubai. This is the future of Miami. I think we're becoming a global city and we're going to be more and more on maps.
Yeah, that's super interesting. And, I feel like that's pretty unique because a lot of cities in America, I mean, obviously there's New York and, San Fran and LA, but other cities in Florida like Tampa or Orlando, you don't see the kind of international people coming in. I mean, Tampa, you see, I would say more like people from Kansas moving, right? Or people from Illinois. But Miami, it just seems like everybody from South America pretty much moves there that's affluent. And then you have people from Europe and Asia. It's just really...
So that has been like the South American on this market for the last 20, 30 years. Now it's starting to change because you get people from Europe and people from Asia, like you said, coming in and buying buildings, full buildings. That's very impressive. Indonesian family that literally bought 2 buildings that were some of the tallest in North Bay Village that you've never seen before. But I think it's only in the near future you will see those foreign people go to northern part of Florida. From what I hear, a lot of the biotech companies from San Francisco are launching near Orlando because of all the students that you have there and the discounts that they get on taxes and on investments. So I think Florida in general is in very good spot as an investor to position your money here. And then it's a decision on what type of market you want to be in and the type of people you want to work with. But I think also all Florida is profiting from people moving to Miami.
Yeah, 100%. And as we know, with great opportunity and great gain also comes, risk and challenges. So when you counsel these investors, what are some common challenges these investors face in the South Florida market? I'm kind of thinking about the hurricanes have become more frequent and more intense. Insurance is obviously becoming a concern after the hurricanes and then the surfside incidents, especially you talk a lot about like these condo buildings, right? So what are kind of some challenges also that you see? And I guess what are some ways to overcome those?
So I would say for the investors themselves, this is a very fast-paced market. if you're a first-time investor, I would say like maybe build your team before you even go out there and try to find the deals. And when I say build your team, is have your lawyer, have the people that know real estate better than you surround you, because it's very easy to make mistakes and the mistakes are very expensive. When it comes to insurance or hurricanes, I think like South Florida is actually, because we've been raised to know about hurricanes, all our buildings are to code to pass hurricanes. And most of the time, the towns that you see that suffer the most from the hurricanes are the people not being prepared. Like I always say, I was so impressed living in New York, and really when there is snow in New York, within 24 hours, the snow is gone. Like it's, they're used to it. And there are towns where you never saw snow before. And when that happens, it's a disaster for a week.
Yeah.
Nobody can go to the supermarket. I think it's the same story. You've seen Dubai, and I come from a place in the south of France where in Monaco, they build buildings on the water. This is the future of Miami. I think with the money we have here, we'll always have solution. If insurances become too expensive, I'm not worried that maybe one of those billionaires comes up with his own insurance and starts insuring Miami people.
Yeah.
I've talked about this, like self-insuring and working with funds that would insure you rather than the insurance companies. People are still investing in South Florida, and I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely, we'll have to keep an eye on where the future goes, but I agree with you. I'm always fascinated by, like, for example, what just happened with Helene, where it was, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, Floridians were prepared because, like you said, a lot of the infrastructure is prepared for this and a lot of the buildings, but then it hits places like South Carolina and North Carolina as a category 1 or even a tropical storm. And for them, it's like, if a tropical storm or a category 1 hits Miami, no one is, I mean, it's business as usual, right? Just because the infrastructure is already set up. And then what I'm seeing here on this coast, and I think the really bad one you guys had was Andrew in the 90s, and our bad one here was Ian a couple of years ago. And, pretty much Fort Myers Beach got wrecked. And Fort Myers Beach was always kind of like more Key West style, like quiet and quaint and, older, like old Florida buildings. But now it's all getting rebuilt up to like current standards and codes, right? They just built a Margaritaville, which, that place is a freaking bunker. So it's just coming back better and stronger. And I'm sure, same in Miami after Andrew and after every storm you've had since. So that's interesting. Now,
I think they profit from this to let the old building goes and find an opportunity to rebuild. So
yeah.
We have enough developers down in Miami to build towns and towns.
Yeah. They're probably just waiting for the next next opportunity to buy some older home for.
Yeah, that's the only problem with the world coming to Miami is Miami is becoming expensive. And that's a problem I think we'll face over the next 10, 15 years. We've seen a lot of people that were born and raised here kind of leaving north or even to other states because it's becoming very expensive.
Or they have to live like so far out that it doesn't even make sense to work on Miami Beach anymore. I'm seeing that in Naples. So Naples is obviously a lot smaller scale than Miami, but it's also very, very affluent, but it's more, just smaller scale. It's not as crazy party wise and the buildings aren't as high, but real estate is extremely expensive there. And, those high touristy areas in Naples, I mean, people are there, wealthy people are there, tourists are there, but the restaurants have trouble staffing, right? Because nobody can live in like a 5-mile radius of these places. And it just, you have to move so far away. And so, yeah, that's becoming a challenge, but I'm sure you heard of it last year. DeSantis passed the Live Local Act. So I think that's gonna.
He's changed Miami, South Florida also because of this, because we're able to build more on some of the zoning we get just so people can afford to live there. So that helps us. Some people put it to their advantage and build a still very expensive condo that are supposedly affordable, but we'll see how that plays.
Yeah, we had an opportunity there in Naples, and not problem, but with the affordability component, it goes by like percentage of the median household income in that county. So, if the median household income in Miami, I don't know, is 120, whatever, and your affordable counts as 100%, up to 100% of the median income. Like if you're making 120 a year, like you're still considered affordable. So it's kind of,
It's hard to balance.
yeah. So, how much affordable housing are you really providing if there's,
That's income.
wealthy families living there? But I guess that's a little bit above our pay grade to influence the law there.
We just have to go with the flow in this case.
Yeah, exactly.
We cannot change the law.
Exactly. What do you think kind of sets the South Florida, Miami real estate market apart from other markets in the US, particularly for investors?
I think, like we said, it's a global market, like it's easy for an Italian or a person from Turkey or Switzerland to come invest in Miami. It's on the map for everybody. So they feel more comfortable, I guess, investing in South Florida than they would anywhere else in the US. And that's our luck in a way. Like we're really getting a lot more Europeans than we ever got. South Americans are all investing here. So we're really on a global market. And the chance we have is even in a tough time where the rates are 7-8% and people cannot buy, most of our buyers are cash buyers. We don't have financing issues. Like most of the people buying properties for us are guys that come with the money because they know they can't get financed anyway.
Right.
So that really, really sets us apart from any other market as an investor. Is we're still active, up or down. We still have people that want to buy in Florida.
Interesting. So even on those higher scale and higher ticket items, so to speak, when people buy.
Oh, even more. I think the higher tickets are easier to sell than we've sold hotels, we've sold multifamily buildings. It's just families that are moving here and deciding to reposition their business here. It's not a matter of ups or down on the interest rate. It's a matter of like positioning themselves on the market. And I think those are the best time to position your market is when not everybody is ready to invest and jump on the property.
Yeah, I agree. You're supposed to buy when the sellers are desperate, right? Not when the rates are at 2 and you're in a bidding war, right? So that's interesting. And then I guess that also allows back to the insurance part. I've seen a lot of people, obviously that becomes a problem when there's financing involved, but a lot of people that I've met that invest with just all cash and no leverage, they self-insure, right? Yeah. They just don't even get insurance. They just put away a certain chunk of money every month and then have like their own escrow, so to speak, and they just self-insure. So that could be an option too, if insurance gets too expensive or too crazy or whatever. But now it sounds like, so most investors do you work with, are they seasoned, or do you also work with some newer investors? Or we
work with a lot of first-time buyers that come here, and the market is a big market. They're worried to make their own investment by themselves, so we kind of hold their hands and help them invest from A to Z. We have a construction company that only works with us, so we help them on the renovation, we help them on the management. We have our own management company. And we're vertically integrated where we do everything for them basically, and they help us with the equity of the property.
Cool. So the approach there would just be one-stop shop, basically A to Z from, whether it's land acquisition and then entitlement and zoning, building, CO. And then after that, it sounds like you also take care of the day-to-day property management if they want to, or if they need to.
Yeah, and this is why we've worked also with a lot of developers, helping them change zoning and participating to meetings they don't necessarily want to be here for. And when you're a national or international developer, it's hard to make the trips all the time. Yeah. So we work with people from South America or Europe also, people that want to just come here and start positioning their company, but they don't want to build a staff yet. So we're the guys that are going to be the staff on the ground and help them build their company.
Cool. That's awesome. It's a great business model. And as we all know, those staff meetings are worse than a root canal operation at a dentist's office. So
you have them, I guess.
I guess anytime.
Come to one of ours.
Yeah. I guess anytime you can take that off your clients' plates, they're happy with that. Well, like I said, or like you mentioned, you're approaching the 2-decade mark. What's kind of next for you and dream, from here on out and beyond? Anything you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, so we had a lot of opportunities over the past 2 years because, like I said, Miami has expanded very fast, and we were in the development of a few small buildings in Bay Harbor Island. And now our goal is really to stay focused in South Florida and be able to provide investors bigger and better opportunities on the development side. We're working right now on two lands to develop luxury homes. One of the piece of land, we already sold a few homes for $6-7 million a home. So we build very luxury market, and we're looking to reposition also a few hotels that we're buying between Miami and Boca Raton.
Okay, awesome. So it sounds like the goal is to gain more market share and penetrate the Miami, South Florida market versus expand, let's say, into Orlando, Tampa, Fort Myers, like whatever it may be. Like, so you want to kind of stay put just because it's such a large, fast-paced market. You want to
Yeah, we've known our market for the last 2 decades, and we know most of the players here. So it's very easy for us to navigate those markets and be able to get what we need very fast. And I think right now the fast pace of the market is kind of leading the way. So you need to be able to react very fast if you want to get the right deals.
Yeah, perfect. And it's obviously easier said than done to expand into a new city. And like you said, meet all the new players and build relationships and who can you trust. So it's obviously easier said than done. So, well, Cedric, thank you. Thank you so much for shedding some light on the investment landscape over there on the East Coast of Florida. I want to thank you for your time and your insight. And we'll obviously link all of your contact information, descriptions down below, your website, and that's how people can get in touch. And is there anything else you want to tell the audience?
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting everybody in Miami.
Cool. Awesome, man. Well, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
And that wraps up another insightful episode of the 239 Real Estate Roundtable Podcast. I hope you enjoyed our discussions and gained valuable knowledge to enhance your home ownership journey here in Southwest Florida. A big thank you to our incredible guests and, of course, to you, our listeners, for joining us. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, or if you'd like to connect, feel free to reach out. You can find us on Instagram at @KevinTremmel_real estate, on Facebook at Kevin Tremmel Real Estate, or visit our website, kevintremmel.com. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Your feedback is crucial, and we're always eager to hear from you. Until next time, this is Kevin Tremmel, your host, signing off. See you on the next episode.